So this is
Right.
the very first Purpose Code Live.
Yay.
The Purpose Code running my entire life. So I don't even know where to start. I mean, this is like, I'm getting notifications. I hate that. Like, I'm streaming on my phone, notifications are coming in, and I get really distracted. I need to focus, but it's late in the day. So it's 5 o'clock British summertime. And yeah, we're here to. Hi, Eclectic Leadership. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. So we're
Let's
here
hear that. Yeah.
to talk about the latest development in astrology technology. I'm going to give it a whole little name, Astrotech. Yeah, you've heard of fintech. This is Astrotech. No, I mean, stuff's been out there for a while, but I have finally created an app. It is a web app for everybody who goes to the Play Store and Apple Store. It's a web app, so you will have to open it with a link. But essentially, it's all about purpose. And the idea is that we all have meaning for our lives. And oftentimes, people either don't know what their purpose is, or if they do know, they don't know what is stopping them from living according to their purpose. And so, purpose is like quite a, I guess it's quite a compelling subject. It's the most Googled search term. It's the search term most Googled under spirituality is what is my purpose? And I feel really fortunate to be living my purpose, but it took me quite a few years to fully transition into living the way I'm living now. And a lot of that was due to, I guess, having a salary, right? The most addictive substance on the planet. I love saying that. And when I say that and people have never heard it, they go, oh, but it is. It's more addictive than crack, heroin, ketamine. I don't know what all the addictive substances are. Alcohol, the whole thing, is the salary. And it was actually designed to be addictive. The human mind functions on habit, routine, and patterns. So if you know there's going to be a certain amount of money, just enough for you to not quite get by, but also not get crazy rich. And if you know that's coming into your account every week, couple of weeks, month, or whatever, and notice that all of the organizations kind of follow each other in terms of payment schedules, last Friday of the month or whatever. So these are patterns that are tried and tested. And it's really hard to get away from it. And I'm not saying that everybody who lives their purpose should leave employment, because some people, their purpose aligns really well with a job. But we're in an economy now where the job markets are crashing, things are changing rapidly. There are more redundancies than ever, and it's not going to slow down anytime soon. So more and more people are thinking about or starting to make the move towards their purpose and trying to figure out how they can generate an income by living their purpose, which is the real challenge, I think. I think once you know what your purpose is and you're doing work that you love, that you know serves other people, that's great. But then if you have to build a business or become a founder owner according or in line with your purpose, then that's where the challenge is. So I built the purpose code. Just like that.
Just like that. Can I just throw something in there? Because something you said some time ago that really struck me was a lot of people think their purpose is to help other people, and you touched on it here. And if you're not doing that, then some people think, oh, I'm not living my purpose. I should be helping people. But the reality is that may not be your purpose. Your purpose may be something completely different that still helps people.
Yeah.
And I think that's the exciting part about the purpose code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, it's okay to not be in service to humanity directly, right? It's okay to be somebody that builds, cathedrals or something, which inadvertently is about people, but it's not necessarily about health or caring or nurturing human beings. But we all have meaning, and it just shows up in different ways. So I think we're often, as children, are drawn to doing certain things, and sometimes it's conditioned out of us and we lose our path, and we go and study what our parents want us to study. We get the best paid job, we move to places like big cities or whatever, join the rat race and live these lives, and then we wonder why we're burnt out, struggling, suffering, unhappy, miserable, sad. And then other parts of your life start to fall apart, like your health, your relationships, like, you know, because we're so out of sync or out of line with what our souls want us to do. And so, obviously, as an astrologer, I used astrology to power the app. But the good news is that you don't have to know astrology or understand astrology. And in fact, I've got less and less astrology coming through in the app as time goes on, because I really want the app to be super practical, super grounded, and just really help people. I want people to be able to get into the app regardless of what they believe about astrology and get some real use out of it and some real guidance. So,
Yeah, because it's actually about timing and energy, right? Yeah.
always,
Mm.
always. And I think the really important thing about astrology that, um, I mean, there are lots of approaches to astrology. There are lots of different types of astrology. The astrology that I practice comes out of the evolutionary astrology school, um, and is really about the work that we have to do in this lifetime. So I believe in reincarnation and past lives. So the work that we have to do in this life to help us to release karma, experience more of life, you know, work more in a way that is aligned with love as opposed to fear, right? So we come into each life with an intention, and it's like we spend that life trying to get to that intention. And for some people, they can get there really quickly, but then those people are often born into lives with a lot of adversity early on, right? So they kind of break through the barriers and do the hard work early on. Other people are held back by their traumas, by memories, by like wounding. And so I think what's really powerful about astrology is that not only does it give us timing, because the planets, the fixed stars, the asteroids and comets are constantly moving at whatever pace, because each of those cosmic objects has its own pace and path. But as they move, they impact or aspect the points at which the planets, stars, and asteroids were fixed when you were born. And so it's like having a map or a blueprint at the exact moment that you came into the earth. And then, because we're all made of stardust, the subject for another time, we are impacted by the movements of the cosmic objects. So, a really simple example that I always give people is like the moon, right? We all know by now that the moon affects water, it affects the sea, but we also know that it affects us, right? Is sometimes you'll feel super emotional. You'll be like, why am I so emotional? And someone says, oh, it's the full moon or whatever. Or, like different moon phases bring about different things. When the moon hits certain signs, houses, or aspects in your chart, you feel it more than others. So we are always being impacted by the movement of the cosmos. And so when we're able to map that and sometimes predict some of those movements that are coming, we can then prepare ourselves for certain life events, shifts, movements, or even creativity, right? So if you're thinking about creating something, if you're thinking about, like, a really good example is like people getting pregnant or wanting to get pregnant, like it does tend to align with certain planetary aspects, right? So there are a lot of people who might not believe that, but if you look at the timing and then you trace it back to their charts, you'll see very clearly, oh yeah, this happened when Pluto was here, or, a certain planet hit a certain part in their chart. And then you can almost like predict that's when they'd get pregnant. So most major life events are predictable. But I think when we talk about purpose, what we're talking about is the fact that we're all born with our soul's intention. We are all born with a set of skills and talents that we have inherently. We're all born with a certain personality or set of characteristics. And we're all born with certain timing predestined. That means we will get to a place in time where our purpose is activated and we will feel the pull, the call, or the urge to really step into that and just start to do the work, the duty, the mission, whatever you want to call it. Some people call it Dharma. That feels really aligned with who you are. And so when it's time to make that shift, the only question is, how do I do it? Not do I do it? Should I do it? It's how. So
Yeah.
there's this book, right? And I spoke about this. I did a Substack post, and I just think it is the most insightful book. And I didn't know that this book was out. So one of my clients actually told me about it after she downloaded the app. And the timing of this, so this came out in March. It's a New York Times bestseller, and it's all about purpose. But the approach is talking about purpose at a time when people are so anxious, depressed, like really struggling, and are losing the sense of meaning in their lives. And I just think since the app's been released, this is happening more and more, where the echo is just getting louder and louder, where there are more and more people talking about purpose, it seems. It's like when you buy a certain car, you start to see lots of them on the road, right? It's that kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
phenomena. But
Mm.
the reason I think this book is so great is because the conversation is real. The approach to the conversation is really insightful, and it's really relatable. And I just think there's something in the idea of your life having meaning that is greater than just you getting up and going about your day, right? Knowing that something that you do is affecting other people, other places, or whatever. Sometimes we need that just to get out of bed, just to keep going. We need to know that we're doing something that has far greater meaning than just our lives. Like, especially when life gets difficult, right? It's like we're all caught up in ourselves, our own emotions, thoughts, whatever's happening with us. And it can get really miserable if we don't have something else to really focus on, something else that gives our life meaning, right? And I just think the fact that this conversation is really opening up now, and it's getting broader and wider, and it's really expanding, I just think it's really time for so many of us to lean in and really figure it out. So yeah, I just think great timing, lots to do as far as purpose. And I think there are a lot of people like that I've spoken to, or people have told me about, where, like you said, people don't know what purpose means for them. But also, I think there are a lot of people who are quite hopeless, who don't believe that they will live their purpose. Like when I did the Mind Body Spirit exhibition, and I met people who were like, oh, I'm so embarrassed, I don't want to download the app because I'm not living my purpose. And it was like, that was kind of mind-blowing for me, that they were almost embarrassed and ashamed that they were avoiding their purpose. And what they probably wouldn't have known is that is what we call a skipped step in astrology, right? It's a pattern. There's something going on that is making you want to avoid living your purpose. And I think the more we can get people to stop feeling ashamed, stop blaming, and instead start to get curious. Why am I avoiding my purpose? What am I afraid of, worried about, or whatever it is? The sooner people can start just to feel a little bit more fulfilled about life.
Yeah. And I think if you bring it, like you were saying, that's great for your purpose. But if you bring it to more of a business perspective, we were talking earlier about the I don't know the percentage. I think you know of billionaires, millionaires that use astrology for timing
I think
in their
all the
businesses.
billionaires, not many of the millionaires.
All the billionaires, not many of the
Yeah,
millionaires.
so the quote is that millionaires study like finances or like stocks and shares or whatever, and billionaires study astrology.
So it's all about the timing. Yeah.
It is about the timing, but it's about more than timing. It is about, so here's the thing. One of the things that used to really upset me when I was at school was this rhetoric around working on your weaknesses, right? And the reason it used to upset me is because I'm not an athlete. And that was a weakness. So I was constantly being forced to do more sports or to like train harder and do stupid shit. And I'd be like, I'm on my period like every week. Because it was like, it's painful. I don't enjoy it. I'll do what I do like. Why do I have to work on my weaknesses? I'm never going to be an athlete. Right. And I think with a lot of billionaires and very successful people, they know what they're good at and they get other people to do the other stuff. Right. It's like self-acceptance is like one of the core pillars of my life. Anybody that's ever coached with me, had sessions with me, I'm gonna tell you, like self-acceptance, radical self-acceptance is key to any level of success, meaning, or fulfillment in life. I know what I'm good at. I know where I'm brilliant. I also know where I really struggle. I'll go to the gym. I'm not trying to be an athlete, right? So a general level of fitness is very different from trying to be, I don't know, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, but this was a rhetoric that was so powerful, and people still talk about it today. Like, oh, you must work on your weaknesses. And this is what's wrong with the education system, in my opinion. And this is also what's wrong with a lot of training out there, is that everybody's supposed to be a generalist, just be good at everything. Not possible. And I think billionaires
This
know
is
what they're
important.
interested in.
Yeah.
They know where their strengths are. They learn what their skills and talents are, and they go with it. Why do anything else? Right?
Yeah.
Like, there are other people who are good at the other things. And if we learn to just like be so accepting of self and who we are, how we've shown up in the world, that's half the battle won. Because then, if you know, so for example, I know people who are beautiful writers. I mean, like their words just like fall off the page into my heart and mind. And I'm like, oh, like, wouldn't it be an absolute shame if they decided to be a mechanic because somebody said that they should? Please just write. If you are supposed to be a writer, write all day, every day. Just write for people, you know, like whatever it is that you are born with, really enhance it and make the most of it. But there's also this phenomena, which I call the Amy Winehouse syndrome, where Amy Winehouse thought that everybody could sing because it was a natural gift and talent. She didn't have to work for it. So we have this almost like belief system in the world where it's like, if you don't work for it, it doesn't have any value. But in astrology, the second house, which rules value, also rules talents. And talents is the first word for money. So you are born with talents. These are the things that you should exchange for money. But if you believe that you have to work for it, what are you working for? Because nobody works for the thing that they're naturally brilliant at because they already have it. Does that make
Yeah, or
sense?
learning more or getting more skills or and I'm not saying that education isn't important, but especially because I know Shazad and I talk a lot about leadership and training, and like you think, well, for me to be a leader, I have to get more skills. And no, maybe you're just a naturally good leader. Lead your way. It
Yeah.
doesn't, so it doesn't mean you have to learn something else. Yeah.
I think the learning, it should always be reflective, right? I think we should learn
Mhm.
ourselves
Yeah.
before we learn anything else. And of course, there are basic skills that we all need, right? We all
Yeah. Yeah.
need to be able to, read, write, maybe learn some languages. Like no one's disputing that. But instead of pushing everybody into the same box, which is what the industrial education system is about,
Yeah.
let's help people to really figure out who they are, what their talents are, what their natural leanings are, and then develop those, right?
Mm.
Because you might be born a natural leader. Now, if you go to leadership school, you learn how to enhance those natural skills, right?
Yeah.
You might develop some more soft skills, like some emotional intelligence, all these other things that really develop your natural leadership. But somebody who's studied leadership and isn't a natural leader will never lead well. You've
Yeah.
got to want to go first. You've got to want to set an example. You've got to want to get up earlier, leave last, like all of these natural inclinations as a leader. And I think some things can't be learned, right? And if
Yeah.
somebody else is naturally like that, let them have it.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean you all have to be that thing. Your talents may be somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And so when it comes to business, which is like one of my favorite subjects, I think that we have a problem, which is a really big problem, where I think what people tend to do, in my experience, is everybody tries to build a business in a box, right? And
Mm.
business is not colouring by numbers. Yes, there are certain principles, especially if you're an entrepreneur, there are certain things that you should be aware of and have an understanding of. But at the same time, the way I build my business, the way you build your business, has to be aligned, my purpose, your purpose, right? So,
Mm.
what I mean by that is that some people want to own Walmart. If that's not the way you're built, you will never do it. So, you're on a hiding to nowhere, right? If you
Mm.
are supposed to be, I don't know, a baker, go bake and just have a great time, right?
Mm.
You don't have to own Walmart, which is the biggest grocery chain in the world or one of, right? If that is not who you are, if you don't come from that family, if you don't have that natural inclination and your chart does not support that, you're not going to make it. So don't be like unrealistic about what you're built for, because what you're built for, if
Mm.
you follow that path, you'll be brilliant at it,
Mm.
right?
And
Bilal
happy.
Sassoon was a hairdresser. Hello. Like Rihanna, singer, turned makeup brand
Mm.
owner. Let's not call her an ambassador. But anyway,
Mm.
a
Mm.
billionaire because she's obsessed with makeup. I mean, you know, let's just get really clear on the fact that we do have a purpose and astrology points us in the right direction. And then we get the opportunity to figure out what it is that we need to learn, what it is that we need to practice, and what it is that we don't know that we don't know that we need to develop awareness of so that we can
Mm.
live our purpose. It's that
Yeah.
simple. Yeah. So going back to business, I think one of the things that's really important, especially for people who have had lengthy careers like in corporate, is that if you did not come from a business background, why should you know how to build a business? And unless you left your job and went to business school, why would you know? And I think that people, like, this is almost a skip step in business, is that people don't learn business.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
So people go, oh, I'm leaving my job. Um, I'm now going to be a makeup artist. I love makeup. I've got every product. I know every technique. And I used to be an accountant or a lawyer, whatever. Now I'm going to go and be a makeup artist. And off they go. They might do a makeup course. They will go and buy all the products. They'll set themselves up and they'll be like, I have no clients. Why can't I get clients? Because the skipped step is that you didn't go and learn business. And I would be really interested actually to find out how many people that start their own business or their own practice actually study business.
Well, having done an MBA and thinking this is what is going to make it happen, I still have a huge skip step. So you can understand the fundamentals and you can learn all about it. But if you've got that thing that you don't know what that thing is, it's
Yeah,
getting you nowhere. And I've been going in circles, and it's obvious now why, obviously, because
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
on the app. And
yeah,
yeah, it's actually quite mind blowing. So even doing a business course or going to business school or getting an MBA doesn't mean you're going to be set up to run a business. You understand the fundamentals of it, but you can still have that skip step and it
yeah,
gets you nowhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating. So I studied
Mm.
business, but I also was I was just in a commercial environment for a very, very long
Mm.
time. And so I guess that I studied and then practiced. And I think, like, if anyone's ever watched my lives, they know that I came up through that whole boiler room, like sales, whatever, media, and all of that. So I just think anybody who ever had to sell anything in order to eat has a certain level of understanding of being commercial, right? But if you didn't actually have to create the offer, test the offer, and make sure that people bought it, you still are just doing what somebody else taught you,
Mm.
right? So, is it important? I think it's extremely important that people have some business experience and expertise. But if you're in a position where that's not possible, then the next best thing is to really figure out what are those patterns and blocks that are keeping you stuck and causing you to spin your wheels a little bit, right? Because if you don't know what it is, you'll be looking in all the wrong places, right? So I think it's interesting that you say, like, having business skills doesn't make that much difference. I beg to differ. I think it makes
Mm.
a huge difference. And the reason I say that is because that is not something. So in your case, that's not something that you're missing,
Yeah, no,
right? So
I
you
don't
might
mean it
not,
doesn't make it. No, I didn't mean it like that, that it makes a difference. I meant that for me, my block is still my block. My skip step is still my skip step,
yeah,
whether I have
yeah,
them or not, the skills.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not
So
saying the skills are not necessary. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So for some
Mm.
people, they have, I guess, a lack of knowledge in the commercial sense, but we all have a skip step for the most part. And that
Mm.
is an astrological phenomena, right? And the skip step is, so the best way to explain it is that we all have a tendency to try and take a shortcut. And the problem is, we don't know what we're trying to skip because it is purposely outside of our conscious awareness. So if you imagine that your soul is like, I just want to get to my purpose, I don't want to take all the steps to get there. I have decided this year I'm living my purpose. I'm going to be whatever I said I'm going to be, and I'm doing it, there is a natural, unconscious inclination to skip something. And that's usually because there is trauma, wounding, past life memories. Like there's usually something in there that we actually want to avoid deeply. So it becomes a skipped step. And what that phenomena does is it creates a pattern of behavior. So imagine every time you come to that point of whatever the block or pattern is, whatever the block is, sorry, you jump over it. I'm going to avoid that. You slip back because you have to actually work through it, and you try and do it again. So the more you try and do it, the more it becomes a pattern, until you start telling yourself, oh, that's just how I am. Right. So a good example is, people who say, oh, I always make mistakes. Like I'm one of those people, I type really fast and there's typos everywhere and I could care less. Right. For some people, it really bothers them. And because I'm aware of it, I'm like, I'll use a spell checker or I'll just, put it through whatever. But for other people, they get really upset. So it's almost like their whole thing is to go and spend loads of time editing and perfecting. And like they're sending one email. I'll send 100 emails in the same time because I don't care. Let's get the email done. There might be some mistakes. People know I really wrote it. It's like whatever, typo here and there. But is the message strong? Let's go. Now, there are other areas where I do try and perfect, right? So it's almost like we develop these patterns and then we go, oh, it's just how I am. I have to edit absolutely everything and make it perfect. Because by doing that, they avoid sending. They avoid the rejection from the result. They avoid having to deal with people's criticism. That's their skip step. In other cases, the skip step is that, so for myself, one of my skip steps is avoiding the emotional work, as in fact, I do it in a lot of my life. I'm a Capricorn moon, right? I'm like, let's just get this done. Let's keep it moving. Like one foot in front of the other, please. Let's not stop and get all emotional about it, right? So I'm very like practical, grounded. And for anyone that is like, knows me for quite a while, even if there's like a major disaster at some point, I'll be like, okay, this is what's happened. Now let's figure out how we can work our way out of it, rather than sitting, being in the emotion of it, dealing with the emotion. And in some cases, it serves me because I can sit with a lot of people who are going through really deeply emotional, chaotic life events and be seemingly undisturbed. But in other cases, for me and my work, I need to sit in the emotion, right? So my skipped step will be, this is crazy. Look at all this emotion. Never mind, back to work, right? And then I'm the workaholic. So rather than dealing with the crisis, I lock myself away and just keep working. So I'm missing what the emotion has to offer sometimes. And sometimes that emotion will actually serve my work, but I'm missing it because I'm so practical and so let's not get too emotional. Let's not whatever. So then you come to a point in life, as I did, where your whole life crashes into intense emotion. And out of that place, your purpose is born, like a phoenix rising out of the fire. So for years and years, don't deal with the emotion. Let's just keep going. Very British, like stiff upper lip. And then something had to happen. Somebody died. And it was like, oh, well, a few things happened. It was like a series of events, very unfortunate. And I had no choice but to collapse into emotion. And while for some people it would be like, God, that's terrible, it was necessary for me to completely surrender what I thought was what I should be doing and start living the life that I'm living now. So the skipped step, we cannot skip it forever. So if we have awareness of it, which you can do through the app, then you can start dealing with it before you have a dark night of the soul experience like I did.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Because it's
yeah,
quite
yeah.
complicated, but that is like kind of an easy
And it's
explanation, I think.
not easy even through the app, because I think I told you earlier I asked the same question 2 or 3 times, and eventually the app said to me, "Are you seeing what you're doing? You are skipping the skipping of the skipping. You are so skipping."
You keep skipping.
You have
Stop
asked this
skipping.
question before. And I was like, have I? And I was like, I really don't get it then. And I had to go back and read it. And I mean, my step is just talking to people and getting their feedback, because yeah,
Wow.
I apparently, and I know why, and I think my
Yeah.
history, and it was because I was asked, where do I see myself in the company, and that's when I knew I had to leave, because if this person couldn't see my value, which I knew was there,
Yeah.
but nobody spoke to me about it, I just left, and so I don't want to talk to other
Wow.
people about it. So, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm basing my whole business model on. So why don't I want to talk to people about it? Like, that was my pain, and I want to talk, and then I don't want to talk to you about your pain. So that's a huge step, actually. Yeah.
Isn't that
Like,
fascinating?
I had to deal with that. Yeah. This afternoon, like, okay, you keep thinking, oh, no, I've dealt with that. It's done. And then it's like, oh no, you haven't really, have you?
Not fully, and not to the
Mm.
depths that you need to be able
Mm.
to really get into your
And I never
purpose.
made the connection. Like, that's my client. I am the person who's sitting in the same boat as me is my client, right?
That is
So it's like,
amazing.
ka-ching, I made oh, that's the connection. Yeah.
You made the link. And that's the
Yeah.
other thing. One of the biggest clues that I always try and give people is that if you've lived through it, it's very likely connected to your purpose. And
Mm,
the people that you may serve, not always, but for the most part, are the people, if you stop and turn back and look at who's following you on the same path, going through the same or very similar things, they're likely your clients,
mm,
right? And the reason they're your clients is because you're just far enough ahead to have figured some things out that you can help them with, but you can still relate, right? So it's
yeah.
like your skipped step is your work in this life. Like, it's a big part of your work. And the reason we skip it is because who likes work? We just want to get to the good bit. Like, that is like
Mm,
human nature. It's like, yeah, I get it, but I know better, or I know best, and I want to do this because this looks shiny and golden. That must be a better way of life, and this must feel better than whatever. Nobody wants to go through the nightmare, the hell, the difficulty, do you know what I mean? The discomfort of dealing with the thing. That is why we skip it. It's painful, but pain often dictates purpose.
mm.
And if it doesn't dictate the whole purpose, it's definitely the doorway.
And the thing is that you think you're unique, and you're really not. There's
Oh,
thousands of
we're all
people.
unique to a certain extent,
Yeah.
but there are
But
lots of people with a very similar
what I've gone
pattern.
through, I think only I've gone through that. But
Yeah,
thousands of people are going
of
through it.
course. Of
Yeah.
course.
And but in your moment you feel, oh, that's just me. And then
Feel
no, there's
isolated.
so many people, yeah, that are going through
Yeah,
this. Because then you think, like,
yeah,
who would my client be, or who could I help? Oh, there's can't be that many people. And then when you look, you think, oh, actually, it's everybody at that
yeah,
point in their career, or is sitting in this position. And I think, there's enough. There's enough people for you
yeah,
to help. Yeah.
yeah. So if
Mm,
you go back to your skip step and
mm,
what it caused you to do, which was walk out, leave work,
mm,
right? That was the pain that became the doorway. to
Yes.
you moving towards your purpose.
Yes. Yeah.
So what does that now mean for you then?
It means that, well, it's interesting because the app asked me, did I have to leave? And I felt that I did because but I don't think everybody has to. So I don't know if that's answering your question, but I think it's like if I'd seen it before or I realized what was happening, I think it had gone too far. Or another part of me goes, did you see the value in this and go, hang on, I can help people with this? So is there, yeah.
I
Um,
think you just got to look for people who did exactly what you did,
yeah.
which
But
means you just talk about it, right?
yeah. Yeah, you talk about it, but you don't have to leave. I mean, because
No,
what it said.
you're missing the point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This is why it's a skipped step.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you had to leave. It was too painful to stay. And if you didn't leave, you wouldn't have entered the doorway to get on the path towards your purpose.
Yeah, true. And I also think it's about how you leave. You don't have to leave all angry.
Now, so this is another skip step.
Okay.
Right? Where you won't just sit with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Just sit with it. It's really, really simple. You had to leave. The pain caused you to leave, but the pain was the doorway that you went through to get on the path to your purpose. There's no choice. There is no choice. Because your soul was ready and has probably tried several times to make you leave to get on the path to your purpose, right? How many times before that did you want to leave? Did your soul cast these scenarios? Because what happens is our soul creates
many
this
times.
scenario over and over again until we do it.
Yeah. There were many
Right.
times.
So this is why people are like, why do I have the same pattern? Because your soul's trying to tell you something. Your soul will keep creating the same pattern until you pay attention and do the thing that it wants you to do. You had to leave.
Yeah. And now you sit having to figure it out. And
no, but listen, just take a breath. You had to leave. Just let that settle. Just let that go all the way down to the soles of your feet. There wasn't another option.
No.
You had to leave. So what does that mean for you in terms of the people that you may be here to serve?
Well, I think it's I don't say giving permission, but yeah, I've lived it. I don't know. It's like
they're the people that left. It's that simple. So whether they were fired, made redundant, walked out themselves, the pain of leaving was the doorway to them getting on path to their purpose. So because you know what it feels like to leave in pain, there are other people who have left or been kicked out who are going through the same pain. There's no choice in it. Because if we don't leave, we will be fired. Because that's not what we're supposed to be doing forever. It doesn't mean we shouldn't do it for a certain amount of time. But if the same scenario comes up over and over again until it's so painful that we do leave, every time it came up before, that was the soft offer. Would you like to leave? Might be a good idea. This way? No? Okay, stay for another cycle. I'll be back. Time to leave. A little bit more painful. Every time getting worse and worse until it's intolerable. So if you can sit with that pain and really communicate that scenario, that's the only thing you need to speak about. People are going to be like, oh my God, how does she know that I went through that?
Yeah.
Because it's a very unique set of circumstances. So whoever felt that pain of having to leave or being removed, they will relate to you writing about that.
Or are feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way we connect with people is through our skip step. That's why the skip step is so important.
Mm.
So for me, going through an emotional skip step, I had to hit intense grief to just stop. Right. I couldn't work. Like, the grief was so intense, it was layered and layered and layered. And the very first clients that I had in this space were all grieving. And I've told that story like quite a few times. It's like I was just inundated, it felt like, with people in grief.
Mm.
I wasn't meeting people who like, oh, I really like Reiki. I was meeting people who literally lost somebody that week, that day, were about to lose somebody, like in the most horrific ways. Like, it was like intense, intense grief. And I still meet those people today. But obviously, as you go along your path, you start to work through other things.
Mm.
But it's like, because I'd been avoiding my emotions for so long, I was like thrust into emotional hell, like just completely obliterated by emotion. And then everybody that came to me were in intense grief.
Mm.
So it's like, just connect with that point. It's always just a point. And I think sometimes we feel the need to pad it out and overcomplicate it and make it a bigger target, right? In the hope that more people will hit it. But if you can get to the point, the sharp point, they're
You
your
call it
people, because it's undeniable.
the tip of the spear.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Mm.
It's the tip
Mm.
of the spear. It is the literal point, that tiny dot. And nobody feels comfortable with it. We all think, well, there's got to be more than that. It'll be that and this and a bit of that. So we try and pad it and we make it a bigger target, but then it doesn't resonate with anyone, right? Whereas if you dare, and you do have to dare, to be like, all I'm going to do is sit with people who want to speak to people that they've just lost. And that in itself became like a whole world, right? But if you think about it, it's like, really? That's all you're going to do, is talk to people that are grieving? Yeah. I'm only going to offer psychic readings to people that are grieving. Not about your future, not about this, not about that, not about relationships. Just, have you lost somebody? And all that happened is that people referred to me over and over and over again. Because I was that person. So I would just meet people who wanted a psychic reading because they'd lost a loved one. That was my dot, my little point. But we don't like to hitch our wagons to a tiny little dot.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel safe.
Yeah, but you got
skip step, right?
Yeah, and especially if you're like we were talking about, founder, owner, solopreneur, you cannot service everybody. You've got to. You can only do the tip. Yeah.
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 But it just doesn't feel safe. It feels too risky, right? Am I really only going to sell salted caramel, gluten-free cookies? Why not sell every kind of cookie?
Well,
No,
because you're
because
going
you'll
to have
become known for the one cookie, because Coca-Cola just sells Coca-Cola. Of course, it sells everything else now. But
but you're going to have
for
somebody
years.
that's going to come to you and say, "Can I have the caramel cookie? Hold the salt," and you're going to go, "No."
Right.
You got to
This
have
is
salt.
what I do.
Right?
Yeah. Right. And when you see like internet sensations, they're always known for that one thing. Right. So if we think about someone like Hermes, the Birkin, it's just one bag. They do so many things. Everyone talks about the Birkin. There's a viral food thing where they do like a Caesar salad wrap, and they put crisps in it. They do all kinds of shit, but they're just known for this Caesar wrap. And the queues go round the block. People just come for a Caesar salad wrap. And when we can get to that place, which means that we tackled the skip step, And we're like, there's just this one thing. Everything else will come out of it eventually if that's what you're supposed to do. But you've got to start with just that point. So the skip step means that if we think about it from a business perspective, most people's business or practice or whatever they're building, especially as a solo entrepreneur or founder owner, what they'll notice is that something just isn't gelling. They can't get past a certain point, and it's because your business has skipped a step because you do not know what your skipped step is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So another great example is the app, right? And I'm going to keep banging on about the app because I just want people to download the app. I just want to
For
say that
free.
the app is free to download. You get full access to your purpose, you get daily prompts, you get your archetype. If you want to upgrade and get more information on like love and money, then you pay for that. If you want to work on some of the programs that are on offer, they're on offer in the app. But it's free to download. It's a web app and you can just like save it to your home screen. But I think the thing with the app is like there's so much kind of like opportunity out there to work with people. And because I work with so many people, it's almost like, and I'm an MG in human design. So if you know human design, you just know. And I'm a 3-5. So comments below. But all I'd say is that I'm daily bombarded like by my own brain with ideas. Oh my gosh, this keeps coming up. People need help. Oh, people need help with that. I should do something like that. Blah, blah, blah. My skipped step, and this is a really interesting journey, was the technology, right? And the reason I say that is because back in 2009, 2010, when I was still in media, I started working with a load of startups. So I've shifted into technology seamlessly. So I was working with like the Calm app. They were in the same building that I was in, just like coincidence. A ton of startups. And that went on up until ChatGPT came in. Like I had a whole agency creating content, helping people develop apps, working on technology, e-commerce businesses, whatever. So I'd always been somebody who was delivering or helping to build out the business for technology. So I wasn't a tech person, but I was tech adjacent, if that makes sense. So building the app was a bit of a skip step. So because I'd done it before, I wasn't afraid of technology. Like I've been in technology in some shape or form my whole life. Like I started as a headhunter in IT, right? There's always been that tech adjacent thing. But my 10th house is in Aquarius, which was technology, right? But of course, I didn't know astrology then. Just love technology. So the skip step for me was that I wasn't intentionally avoiding technology for my own business. I wasn't like, I will never have an app. I'll never use AI. Love AI. Like, I was one of the first people on ChatGPT because I knew about it really early on. And it was like, I think you said, was it you that said you should replicate yourself? You should make an AI of you. It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was just like, and I think I pretty much rejected it at first and was like, oh God, because I have an idea of what it would take. And then I thought, well, okay, let me give it a shot. And here we are with the app. And the reason I say that I realize it was a skip step now is because of how successful it's been in a really short period of time. And it's like when you're able to deal with your skip steps, something ignites. And that's how you know you've dealt with a skipped step. You have literally landed and worked through the thing. And I'm not going to lie, this app gave me a migraine. I don't even get headaches. But it has taken off in a way that I wasn't prepared for. And may it continue to grow and expand, but it's really captured people's imagination. So that in itself is working almost like as that bridge then, right? To allow me to deliver more, to work with more people, all the obvious things that technology does. But it's almost like if I'd have kept avoiding it unknowingly, I may have stayed in a certain place, right, with my work and my business. And this has just expanded so quickly in less than a month, simply because I embraced the technology. And when I was speaking to you earlier, I was saying, like, my 10th house is in Aquarius, your North Node's in Aquarius. That's why we work so well together. But technology has to be a key element in the work that we do, because it is part of the purpose. North Node points to your purpose in this lifetime. 10th house is your MC or midheaven, the direction that you're going in, right? It's like those two things align. And of course, I knew this when we started working together. But it's like those two things align, and it's like a rocket ship.
Yeah.
So you made the suggestion. Of course you did, North Node in Aquarius. 10th house in Aquarius, I eventually said I'll give it a go. We now have the technology that allows me to build my own app without spending 100 grand or 50 grand. And it's like, this is like lightning, which is very Aquarian, literally, right? So it's like, when we can figure out those skip steps and we address them, we then start to see things absolutely explode, take off. So, when you hear about those overnight successes, those brands that have iterated 10 times and been going for 20 years, and then they get their lucky break, they've likely figured out the skip step.
Yeah, and found it.
Well, they'll know their purpose, which is why they're working on it, but it's that skipped step that kept them down. So they would have either figured it out, stumbled across it, or literally got an astrologer, right? And been like, oh, so I should X, Y, and Z. So billionaires know their skip step. Elon has astrologers, I'm pretty sure, on speed dial.
Yep.
There's no way these guys are so successful without knowing their skip step. There's no way. And they're fearless, right? They lean into the difficult things. They lean into the challenges. They go for it. They like unashamedly activating all day, every day.
And I mean, we don't want to name drop, but I think rather yeah. Well, we don't want to punt them, But
there's the app, by the way. This is what it looks like if anyone downloads it. I will share the link, but it's in my Substack post. It's purple, but you can, if you don't like dark screens, you can't see that now. You can toggle it off into light. But go on.
So, we talk often about Mind Valley and Vision Lakiani, but have you noticed how the rhetoric has changed? And it's not anymore about manifest.
I don't pay attention because I'm not a fan.
I know. That's why I said. So, but have you noticed?
I do like some of the people that work with them, though.
I've noticed the rhetoric has changed and how they approach things, and it's no longer about writing and manifesting and just saying what you want. It is more aligned, and it's all moving. And it's because I watched a thing where he actually brought on an astrologer, and I think he's started moving in that direction. Yeah.
No way. Because the manifestation thing is like the biggest bunch of BS. Like, and it's not that we don't manifest. Of course, we're manifesting all the time with concentrated thoughts, etc. But this whole movement that was telling people, like, wait for manna from heaven. Come on, we all know that we have to take action, right? But if you're not aligned with something naturally in your chart, it's just not going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Like,
now you get manifestly blue in the face with that. Yeah,
it's not for you.
Yeah.
Back to strengths and weaknesses, right? Like, so many people are like, oh, I want to be a millionaire. Well, if you took a vow of poverty in a previous life, if you're out of alignment with the way you should earn money, with the way money comes to you, with how money shows up, and you're unaware, if you're spending in a certain way that doesn't align with your chart, you're screwed. You're not even going to be a thousandaire, much less a millionaire. And not everybody's chart is aligned with millionaire, billionaire, or trillionaire Elon Musk status, right? There are so many formations that come together to create that.
But it's much more likely when you are aligned with your purpose that things will start flowing. Now, whether it's millions or whether it's just wealth or whether it's whatever it is, the flow will be
Yeah.
there. Mm.
And here's the other thing, right? Money is man-made. Let's be really clear about that. However, when you are aligned with your soul's intention, your purpose, your dharma, your duty, whatever you want to call it, when you're aligned, your sense of satisfaction is heightened because you've got support, opportunities open up really easily, you have all the resources you need. So if, for example, somebody has the chart of somebody who's quite frugal, right? Maybe they don't have a lot of money, maybe a lot of money doesn't flow through their chart. They're the kind of people that get a brand new MacBook for like 10% of the price on Facebook Marketplace. They're the kind of people that walk down the road and somebody's just like dropped 50 quid on the ground and they pick it up, right? Other things flow into their life that give them more than enough of what they need, right? Nobody is supposed to be in poverty unless they took that vow. And if you took it in a previous life, then we need to have a conversation. Message me and I help you break the soul contract. Just like people who took vows of silence. And in this life, you're supposed to be on social media doing lives. I obviously didn't take either of those vows, but some people did, right? I took a vow of never shutting up. I have more words than most. But some people did that. And if it's a skip step and your one job to like bring money in is to show up, to tell stories, to share jokes or whatever it is, and you can't do that, what a disaster. Right? And it's like just being able to know there's this skip step, right? There's this pattern that I've been doing since the age of 3 because my mum said this, the neighbour's kid said that, my teacher at kindergarten told me to shut up, so I did, or something like that. Somebody stole your voice, and that is the key to your purpose, your wealth, your prosperity, your abundance, your well-being, your health, your everything, and you don't speak. Oh, what a disaster. But if you can figure out that that's what it is, then you can get to work, you know? And it's interesting that it's just not in our conscious awareness. So we do have to do some work, right? Because if it was there, we'd know and we'd either be working on it, because so many of us are all about personal development and doing the work, and you know, we all speak to, like, whether it's astrologers, psychics, coaches, we all do the work. If it was in our conscious awareness, we would have tackled it. Do you know what I mean? But it isn't. Sometimes it's a hangover memory from a previous life, it's trauma, it's wounding, it is in our subconscious or even our unconscious, so we don't even know it's there. And it's not the same as a shadow, right? It's not the same as that. It is literally a placement in your birth chart with a planet, asteroid, or a whole stellium, whatever it is, that signifies there is work to be done here. And that is shown by certain planets in certain positions.
And it doesn't even need to be something that's hidden, or for me, it was something I was very much aware of, but something I thought I had dealt with or wasn't important anymore.
Well, there you go.
And
but it was hidden until the pain activated it. And the pain, the wounding, the trauma, that's what would have made it feel unimportant.
Yeah. No, because you don't want to go back to, you don't want to live that again or go through that pain again. Yeah.
But that's why I think, and I'm not even gonna say not to blow my own horn. I'm gonna blow my horn because this app has been like,
oh no, it is. You can blow your horn. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
What is it called when it's like you put your whole life into something? It's like it's been a work of something. But I mean, I love it. I do. And I love the feedback that I'm getting. Like, I get feedback every single day via message, email, or whatever, where people are like screenshotting what the app says and sending it back. So there's a function in the app called Ask Shereel, which is the AI chat, which I've designed to sound like me, and it's got Shereelisms and it
It
says all these
literally
things.
sounds like
And
you.
people are like, "Oh my gosh, it's like Mini Shereel in the app." Yes, on purpose. Like,
Yes, yes.
I probably sound really narcissistic at this point, but if you've worked
Designed
with
by
me,
me,
you
for
know why
me.
it matters.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is brilliant. Like, I use the app every morning and I created it. Do you know what I mean? But it gives insights. And this is the beauty of technology, right? So I've partnered with Claude, I've partnered with AI, and I have created something that is serving people. There are emails in my back end of names that I have never heard before in my life. Blew my mind at first. It took a lot of getting used to that these aren't people that I've met and invited and sold to. But just the thought that people are getting some benefit just by opening their phones, which they have all the time. And oh, my internet connection is
Unstable, yeah.
unstable, typical.
But we can
Um,
see you.
but the fact that people that I've never met in my life and may never meet are getting some use because I just decided to sit and do this work. And it's a lot of work and it's ongoing and it was really hard, but I just love this kind of thing. It just means so much, right? Because we all get stuck or we all overthink or we all activate our patterns. And just being able, without having to know astrology, just being able to get a daily prompt, which will say to you, take a few minutes, write out this sentence. What do you really think? What can you do differently today? Right. And just helping you to get past something that has before maybe taken years to figure out. Let's go, you know?
Who needs
But it is
therapy
great.
when you've got the purpose?
It's great. Like, let's use
Yeah.
AI in a positive way. It's out there. People are using it for whatever they like. AI is not the problem, the operators are, right? So yeah, let's use it. And then if you really want to go deep, like for me, like purpose, money, career, paramount, Taurus rising, 10th house in Aquarius, like 9th house in Capricorn, all very business structured and whatever else. I go to the Mind Body Spirit exhibition, and I did a talk and it was amazing. It went really, really well. And everybody asked me about love. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, the first one or two I entertained it and then it kept going. And I was like, right, okay. Yeah. So you don't care about your career? No, don't care about money. Well, I'd love a relationship. Well, it would be so nice. I want to know what's happening with my. And I was like, okay. So I gave the people what they want and I added a love tab and there's couple synastry in it. And to be honest with you, I've used it myself. It's brilliant. It has helped me through an argument or two. And even though I was resistant, I was like, oh, this is great. Because what it does is, without opinion, without a perspective, it just tells you what it is that you need to know. And that's the whole point, right? Because I'm human, I have opinions. And even though guidance comes through me, it often comes through my life filter, right? That's really hard to deal with, right? It's really hard to kind of like sanitize and not put my opinion in there. Whereas when you go to the app, it will tell you, well, maybe you were a little bit hasty, Shereel, in making that decision. Maybe you should go and put yourself in the corner and sit and have a think about your decisions next time. Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, Shereel. Right? But it is the idea that it's impartial. It is based purely on astrology, Jungian psychology, and a few other things that I've thrown in there that I don't want to speak about. But it gives you such a profound response most of the time. Every now and then it's a little bit rude and will say, can you stop asking me that? I think you're you know.
It did to me this afternoon. It said, "This is the third time you are asking this question. Tell me what it is you don't understand." So really?
Yeah, stop fishing for compliments. Like, go and do the work, right?
Mm,
Yes, we've
mm,
discussed this before. And it was like, yeah, but that was
mm.
2 days ago. The answer's the same. But
Same. Yeah, yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
but yeah, for the most part,
Mm.
really impartial, really profound. And I just think it's really, really useful. And that is my main objective in life, is to be useful and create things which are useful for other people. So
Awesome. So looking
yeah,
forward to
so we're going to be
when does the
doing,
challenge start?
I was going to say, we're going to be doing a
Oh,
few more of these lives, because I just want to shout from the rooftops, tell everybody about the app, get people using it. And we are doing a challenge via the app, which starts on the 22nd of June. And it is called Decode Your Offer. So this challenge is for founder owners, solopreneurs, coaches, therapists, healers, consultants, advisors, people that basically want to sell their purpose to other people. And the reason I've done this, like, I was actually quite embarrassed that it took me so long to get here, because I've spent 20 odd years creating offers over and over again. And if anyone's worked with me, they'll know that they'll get an offer from me like every few weeks. Like, I've always got a new offer. And so now I'm going to work with people 5 days. It's an intense challenge. By the end of that 5 days, you will have an offer based on your actual purpose, your archetype, your soul's archetype, the pricing strategy that works for you, the timing that works for you, the way you should sell, and the best way to deliver. You'll even have a launch date at the end of the 5 days, and you will have that pointy, sharp offer that we spoke about earlier that takes you to market and gets you new clients, old clients coming back, whatever your objective is. But understanding on a deeper level what your offer should be, what you're ready to sell, how you put it together, who you put it together for. Let's not even get into your customer profile, audience, or whatever. And then the best way to deliver it, right? Like, the best way to sell. Should you use referrals or should you go direct? Should you be on big platforms or should you be on like local billboards or bulletin boards or whatever? Right? Everybody's chart's different. Everybody has a different approach. And when we all try and do one size fits all, many of us will come a cropper. So that's what the challenge is about. And it's really for people. I don't care if you've just decided to make the shift and you want to start making money before you leave your job, or if you've been doing this for years. Many of my clients have been doing their own thing for years. And we all go through cycles, right? So if you're ready to like branch off, like give your business a boost, move in a new direction, or even if you just want to like test the idea and get
mm.
deeper into what makes an offer work for you and your clients, then join the challenge. It's 5 days. There'll be a live session every single day via Zoom. There's a WhatsApp group, and you will receive in the app prompts. This is the exciting bit. I'm just like such a nerd. You'll receive prompts each day that you put into the app that will help you to clarify each part of your offer. And when it's over, you'll have a whole almost like document in the app that tells you everything you know, so you can go back to it over and over again. And the other thing that's really exciting is that if you have not upgraded the app yet, if you're still a free user on the app, if you sign up for the challenge, you get full access to the app for the duration from the time of signing up all the way through to the end of the challenge. And if you find it really useful at the end of that, you might want to upgrade. Otherwise, you've had the benefit of using the app fully for that period. If you're already a user of the app and you want to sign up, please sign up via the app so that your email matches the email you're using in the app. You've got to give me a break here, guys. Like, technology is complicated. So if you already have the app, please upgrade in the app and then you're already set and everything will open up for you starting Monday the 15th, which is when you'll receive your prep before the challenge. And if you've not downloaded the app, what are you waiting for?
And come to the live if you've got questions or want to hear some more, right? So then join the lives, ask your questions, find out more.
I've set a few up, so we've got a few days coming up. So I think there's one tomorrow, maybe on Saturday, Monday,
Yeah.
etc.
I think you only gave us Sunday off. Thanks.
What do you need a day off for? Like, you need a skipped day? Like, there's no more skipping here. We're going through everything. No, I'm just super intense, and I'm not going to lie, even I need to slow down a little bit. But yeah, I just want to like get on and be able to answer questions. But I just want people to have a go with the app. If you don't like it, great, but I don't know why you wouldn't. It's fantastic, but I don't want to oversell it anymore. But I think this challenge is absolutely perfect for anybody who is just a little bit stuck, confused, burnt out, fed up, whatever it is. And you're like, no, I want to go a bit deeper. I want to nail my offer. And once you do this once, you'll nail your offers every single time. So yeah.
Okay, cool.
So it's exciting. So we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll talk about another subject. So that is the skip step, which I hope is useful for people to know about.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thanks so much.
Alrighty. Thanks
See you tomorrow.
everyone that watches the video. And yeah,
share it.
Tomorrow.
Share it. Yeah.
Yes, please share. Please share the good news. Okay. Right.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.